Hey there, folks. Sifu Slim here, bright and early in Jupiter, Florida. I'm out here about to start a group lesson. And several years ago, my coach, Coach Anthony Taverna from Jupiter, Florida, taught me about mindset. We were working on overcoming, the reticence you have on certain shots and certain competitive situations. And then he told me about the mindset of Connors, the competitive level. Then he compared that to Rafael Nadal, the more modern era, 30 years post Jimmy Connors player, and then talked about Roger Federer and his mindset versus these other great players. So let's bring in Coach Anthony, and we'll talk about that and performance anxiety and how to overcome some of these wonderful things and look to these great players and see how they did it. Come on in, Coach Anthony. Let's tell the audience a little bit about you, if you wouldn't mind, and then tell us about these great players and what your thoughts are.
Hi everyone, I'm Anthony and it's nice to be with you. Thanks for the introduction, Sifu. So yeah, you were mentioning Jimmy Connors, and when we talk about mental toughness, he comes to my mind. In my opinion, he was the greatest fighter and mentally tough player of all time. And so when I'm coaching or preparing tournament players, I use that as a model, closely followed by Nadal. And the things they both have in common is, number one, they fight for every single point. And that's, even though we might think every player does that, every professional player, it's not done on the level that Connors and Nadal have done. So that's the first important point. And you look at the focus and you look at the energy and you look at the determination every single point. And that's impressive. So if I was able to combine the fighting spirit of a Connors and a Nadal with the skills and the natural beauty of, say, a Roger Federer, then we might have the most unbeatable player in the history of the game.
Yeah, the thing that I see, women's tennis versus men's tennis, I would rather win 2 sets like the females do my training, do my psychological preparation and play 2 sets, or 3 if they have to, and you're done in under 3 hours, and a lot of times they're done in an hour and a half. And some of these athletes are 5'9" and 150, 60 pounds of 22-year-old really fit people. Now you go to the men and you get Roger Federer, and let's say he's in a 4 or 5 hour match. How do you keep that mental toughness for that long of a period? And very few people can stay at that high level. Nadal and Connors are 2 people that come to mind. So tell me about lasting, the difference between an hour and a half and 4.5, 5 hours.
Well, my personal opinion is the way the women are playing now and striking the ball and the toughness with which they're playing, I would prefer their matches to be longer, especially in Grand Slams. I think for me, 2 out of 3 sets is too short. And sometimes, especially at the French Open, and particularly when Wimbledon didn't have tiebreakers, 3 out of 5 sets without any tiebreakers is significantly too long. So potentially something like a 3 out of 5 match with a 5th set match tiebreaker would be a good happy medium for the sport. So the women are very exciting to watch now. Mm-hmm. It used to be that their game was significantly slower. There wasn't as much attacking, and that's changed a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot less difference between men and women's tactics and the look of the game. There's difference in testosterone level and speed and power, but the look of the game has gotten a lot closer, and it's kind of like professional sprinting. The females over the last 30 years have gotten closer and closer to the men, and the men's times haven't changed very much, less than a half a second in 30 years. So it's fascinating what's happened in the women's sports. Any other suggestions you can have, let's say club level players, 3.5s to 5.0s, how they can prepare for long, tough matches, heavy sun matches, just the arduous difficulty of being in a competitive situation, whether they're playing with a contact with whom they play frequently, and it's just a tough match, or they're in an actual tournament where they have to win like 3 or 4 matches to win the trophy.
So first, let's talk about mental fitness and acuity. Just like a stroke, just like whether it be a serve, ground stroke, volley, overhead, that skill has to be practiced and mastered. We can't master tactics and mental toughness, but they must be practiced just like a stroke. So developing patterns, positive patterns of thinking, routines, breathing, sound tactical patterns, these things must be woven into the training of every player, just like physical fitness as well. So we have mental acuity, mental fitness, toughness, as well as physical fitness, toughness, and durability. And that takes a lot of work. So when you see the pros on the court giving it everything that they have, not leaving anything left on the court, they still have reserves. One thing that most club players don't understand is that the pros come in with tons of reserves. It's like a truck with 4 gas tanks. They don't use all 4 gas tanks. They come in with lots of mental and physical reserves for the match.
And have backup tires too, and backup rackets, and they have goo gel that they have all their glycemic needs and mineral and vitamin needs. It's just amazing because, you know, if you had to go 5.5, 6 hours like some of these record matches, and it's a hot day, or it's just you've been traveling a lot. The life of a competitive touring pro is mostly travel, hotels, and trying to get in some chiropractic and physical therapy, dealing with their family, their sponsors. Gosh, can you imagine the responsibility if a sponsor signed you up with a $30 or $60 million contract? All the appearances, the phone calls, the contracts you have to sign, and TV commercials. It's just a lot of stuff to deal with, and then you have to come out and be a breathing, focused, relaxed, ultimate elite athlete. What a difficult life that would be.
For sure, but exciting to see these wonderful athletes compete for our benefit.
And tell us, Anthony, about your website and how to get a hold of you.
The website is jupitertennis.com, and you could reach me at directly at 561-847-6954, or you could send an email to tennispickleball.pro, and certainly go to my website, and you can also hit the contact us button. Any questions, any thoughts, feedback, I would love that.
So this is your passion and your job is helping people improve on their tennis game, their fitness, and their pickleball game. And it's a pretty complete package, because we've got to be doing our homework, not just coming to your lessons, correct?
That's right. I want to see students come in warmed up, stretched out a little bit, and then as we get to higher levels and preparing kids and adults for matches, we don't just wake up and go on the court. We don't just get out of work and go on a tennis court. Sometimes we have to do that, but the preparation physically and mentally for match play is really important. And then also when you're developing players, Sifu, anything that's left out is going to come back to be a problem. For example, if strokes, good technique is not mastered, that's going to come back to be a problem. If good mental and emotional patterns, routines, if those things aren't developed, that'll be a problem. Physical fitness, footwork, conditioning, tactical patterns, strategy. None of these things can go undeveloped. And that takes a lot of work for a player and for a coach.
It's a complete program, and you know the steps, and you get them assessed by Coach Anthony, and then he tells you what you need to work on. And that's what Federer and Nadal and all these great pros have always done. They're always getting with their coaches. They get on the computer, they watch videos of themselves and other people, and they learn and master new skills. And that's what it takes. And then we'll talk about equipment in another video. This is a Coach Anthony racket. He's also a racket expert and a strings expert with 30 some years of experience in that. So I'm Sifu Slim from today in Jupiter, Florida with Coach Anthony Taverna, and we ask for your likes and subscribes, and we'll talk to you in the next video. Aloha.